Well, now for something a little bit different. That hideously ugly building behind me, which would have to be about the most depressing place I could imagine to work, is the main roads department of WA, and I'm sitting out here in the designated smoking area on a Saturday morning. Now, I want to bring up the issue of designing and putting up maps for detours, particularly for pedestrians and cyclists around work sites. And we're talking about the Fremantle traffic bridge project in particular. So what the people who have put those maps up or designed those maps don't seem to understand is you need to orient maps to the ground. Now, you can't tell me that there's no one in this multi-storey building behind us that has no access to some kind of geographic information system that could pump out maps pretty quickly. Now, 25 years ago, maybe a bit longer, I helped set up Small World, what was then a very popular geographic information system for utilities globally for New South Wales Railways, particularly for their rail estate division. Because rail estate was one of the country's largest landowners and had an extremely complex pattern of titles right across the state. And so I helped them install Small World to manage all of that while they digitised all their titles and all the rest of it. Now, after that, a lot of the engineers within the railways got very interested in using map info. So I installed quite a bit of that for them as well, and helped them hook it up into Small World so they can share data across the platforms. So look, I've got I wouldn't say I'm any good at using those products. I played with them a little bit, but I kind of understand the power of them and what they can deliver. And that was 25 years ago. And I'm pretty sure they've advanced quite considerably since then, particularly when you look at what you can get for free on things like Google Maps today. So I don't understand why there's no one involved with the Fremantle Bridge project who is capable of simply sitting down for half an hour and spitting out a bunch of maps that first actually make sense and provide clear information on how to navigate the detours, and secondly, get them to actually be orientated to the ground. So go out and work out where the maps are going to be put up, look at where north is, and then rotate the map to actually point north or whatever. Make sure that when you're looking at the map, it's orientated to the ground. Now, that would mean maybe printing out 3 or 4 different maps for something like the Fremantle Bridge detours, because obviously you've got different maps when you're going north to when you're travelling south. But surely it's not that hard to, take a snapshot of that particular area and then we've got our map pointing north. Okay, let's rotate it 180 degrees. Oh, we've got our map pointing south. Oh, when people are going east or west, we need separate maps for that. Okay, rotate 90 degrees, rotate 90 degrees. Right, we've got our maps there. So we send off 4 jobs to the printers rather than 1. Can't be that difficult, can't be that expensive, particularly for a $400 million project. So unless the people in the building behind me are stuck in the 1980s and they're still working off paper-based maps and things like that, they should be able to spit out some maps next week and go to the printers and get some core flutes printed up and solve this mapping problem once and for all. And really, the policies need to be updated, or the standards and policies, that becomes the norm for every project going forward.
Now, before I sat down outside the main roads building, I was in Fremantle and I filmed some of these wayfinding maps. Now, you notice how the ocean's on the right there on this particular map. Well, let's go around the other side. And which side is the ocean on? Oh, it's now on my left. Both of these maps are orientated to the ground. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, let's go a little bit closer to the detour at the Fremantle Traffic Bridge. What do we see? Well, the harbour is over on our left behind the fire station, and we go around this side and it's on the right hand side. Again, Fremantle Council seems to have worked out how to orientate these maps to the ground. Now we'll go to one that's even closer to the detours, and you can see the harbour is in front of us there when we're looking at it from this side, and miraculously on this side it's behind us. Now This is only 750 metres away from the Fremantle traffic bridge, so it's not that hard for someone to walk down here and actually have a look.
Now from this corner here, I can literally see the detour up there on the southern side of the bridge. And here, behind me, is one of these maps you can come and have a look at. So if you want to see it in reality, just walk from, where am I? Up there, down here to Toy World, and just opposite, there's a map there.
Now, for any main road staff that still don't get it, well, you can walk down to Victoria Gardens from the headquarters. It's only 750 metres, and there's some good example of maps down there which are oriented to the ground. And if you don't want to go down here and get a coffee, why not walk across to Wellington Square? Because around the square, there's also a series of maps which are oriented to the ground. Now, these are not double-sided signposts because there's a fence behind, but there's a series of these information kiosk things around which have a map on them, and each map is different and it's orientated to the ground. Now, what I don't get is an organisation like Main Roads could not function without high quality maps with, which show engineers and contractors and all the rest of it where works have to be done. You couldn't plan, you couldn't operate, you couldn't maintain. So why is it Main Roads tolerates absolutely garbage maps on major projects like the Fremantle traffic bridge, which are not fit for purpose, which are hastily drawn up, which send people in the wrong direction? It boggles the mind. So anyway, how about adopting the same principles as all that really good wayfinding signage around the Perth and Fremantle areas, and replace all these maps around the Fremantle Bridge project with something which is useful and fit for purpose.